Welcome to this video where we're going to start on section 2 of the keyboard course. So we've gone through section 1 where we've learned how to identify different notes, how to know what the different names are of the notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We've looked at the length of notes, how to do rhythm with that. So now we're going to take everything we've learned, all those very foundational skills, and we're going to learn the next very foundational skill, which is actually how to read the music on the page. So we're going to start with how to read the music, how to read the notes on the music staff or stave, how to read accidentals, and then also how to read the key signature. So let's start off with the staff or the stave. So this is an interesting one in terms of just the name of it. So I did some research to try and figure out why is it that I grew up saying the stave, and then when I hear people generally from the US talking and they talk about the staff. So it seems that it's just again an historical thing. So the UK, all of the Commonwealth countries basically go with saying the stave. It's spelt the same, but we say the stave, and then in the US you talk about the staff. So it's the same thing, but just I will try and I'll probably interchange between the two different words. So yeah, so if we look at page 42 of the keyboard course manual, so it talks here about music notes are written on a staff or on a stave, and this helps us to be able to know what note to be playing. So as we go through this video, you're going to see how each of these different points on the staff tell us what note it's going to be. So it's a chart, so a kind of chart with 5 lines, and then there are the 4 spaces in between those 5 lines. And we have 2 sections of the staff. There are other clefs that can be used as well, but the main ones are the treble clef and the bass clef. So the treble clef, it's this kind of squiggly thing over here and it goes up and down like that. This tells you that it is going to talk about the higher notes. So it starts here with the note middle C, and we learned in the last video that middle C is this note. So just below 2 groups of black notes, you've got C, your C, and then somewhere around the middle of the piano where you have the name of the piano, just below that generally that's going to be your middle C. So everything above the middle C is what's going to be written on the treble clef. So middle C is this bottom line note over here, and everything above it is going to be on the treble clef. And then everything below middle C is written on what we call the bass clef. So you got your middle C here, and everything below then will be on the bass clef. So to be able to read music, you don't need to be able to write music, but I thought if you want to know how to actually write these clefs, these signs that we have here. So this is a printed copy of the keyboard course. So I thought I'd use this to actually show you some things where I actually want to write. So if you want to write a treble clef, it starts, I'm just going to use this set of 5 lines over here. It starts on the 2nd line, and you can just do a little dot, and then you go around and you make a circle up to the middle line and down to the bottom, and you do a circle around like that, and then you go up above the stave, you come down and you make a little tail at the bottom, a little hook. So that's a treble clef. And then a bass clef, if you want to write it, it starts on the 2nd line from the top, and there you just do a C but kind of with a straight line, so it's almost half a heart, and then you put 2 little dots over there afterwards. So that's a treble clef and a bass clef if you want to actually write it. But as I said, you don't need to. But if you're just looking at these signs written over here and you think, where would I even start if I wanted to draw it? That's how we start. We start in the middle for the treble clef, and then on the top left for the bass clef. Okay, so for most instruments, they actually will only use one stave that they're reading. So instruments like the violin or the flute will use the treble clef because they have higher notes that they're playing. And instruments like the cello or the double bass or some of the deeper wind instruments, they will use the bass clef. And that will be everything that they'll read will just be on the one clef. But the keyboard instruments like the piano and the organ, we are able to use an entire range of keys. We have 88 keys, white keys, that we can play on. So that means that we need to be able to read both the treble clef and the bass clef. So they put the two together and they use this little brace, it's kind of like a curly bracket, that joins the two. So then you know, okay, these two lines of music, they work together. We're going to play this at the same time. So whatever's in the treble clef and the bass clef, we play those at the same time. So, and you'll have bar lines that will go across both. And that's how you're going to read it. So this is then called a grand staff or a grand stave when you have the two lines together. So we will now always have the treble clef being at the top, and those will be the higher notes, and that will be what you will play with your right hand as you're reading it. And then your bass clef is going to be what's written at the bottom, and you're going to use your left hand to be playing it. Sometimes you'll use your right hand for things that are written in the bass clef, or your left hand for things written in the treble clef, but 99.9% of the time, if it's written in the treble clef at the top, you're going to use your right hand, and if it's in the bass clef at the bottom, you're going to use your left hand. Okay, so as we're writing this, we have various notes that are going to be used, and all of the lines will have a note on them, and all of the spaces will have a note on them. What it is in the bass clef and the treble clef is different, and we're going to get to what each of them are, but that's how you're going to write it. So these are all whole notes or semi-breves. So these count for 4 notes. So just to be reminding you as you're looking at the music. So there's no stem here, it's just a circle, so that's quite easy. Generally, what happens is everything below the middle line would be written if you are going to have a stem going with the stem going up, and everything above the middle line has the stem going down. So that just makes it look a bit more balanced in the way that you're writing it. So the music isn't going way up above. The stem is for here. If it was going up, it would be really going very high up. But here there are no stems, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let's actually then look at how we use what is written on the staff, on the stave, and compare that to what's actually on the piano. So each of these notes that's written, and you can see here there's the stem going up until you get to the middle, and then they go down, and then it's again going up, and then it goes down for the rest over there. Each of these notes corresponds to a note on the actual keyboard. So we've already spoken about how important middle C is. So remember, on the keyboard, you've got your group of 2 black notes in the middle of the keyboard, and it's just to the left of it. That's middle C. And on the previous page, we saw how middle C is written. It's at the bottom of the treble clef, and it's at the top of the bass clef. This shows you how we actually can switch over between the treble clef and the bass clef. So if you look along here, these notes go up and they're corresponding with 1 note each on the keyboard, and as we go up, it just seamlessly goes from the left hand to the right hand, from the bass clef to the treble clef. But where it joins, this middle C, which is the note that is between the bass clef and the treble clef, it has to be able to be written whether it's being used by the right hand or by the left hand. So this note over here, which is actually just below the treble clef, so you see there's the bottom line, that's an E, we'll talk about that now. There's a space then below that, and then you draw a little line to as if this is the line that would be there if we had a 6th line, but we only have 5 lines. But this line over here shows us this is 2 notes down from the line above it, and this is the middle C, and then 2 lines or 2 notes above the top line in the bass clef, that's also middle C. So the 2 notes over there, that's exactly the same note, it's middle C, but it can be either played by the right hand, so you'd be playing it with your right hand in the bottom of the treble clef, or you play with your left hand at the top of the bass clef. Okay, but if we go right down to the bottom line note, so your G, so remember you've got your group of 3 black notes, just between the bottom ones, that's going to be your G. And the G is the bottom note of the bass clef. So there's G, and then there's A, which is there between the top 2 notes, and then B, and then C. So we've got middle C over here, but this C in the bass clef, which sounds the same but an octave down, we write that in the 2nd space. Okay, and you carry on up until you get to G, and then you switch over to A. And then we carry on A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then again in the right hand, you're going to have G and then A. And that's coming up over here. And then it carries on all the way up till F. And those are the notes that are within the grand staff. Okay, so that's a lot. If you can just know where middle C is, and you know how to read middle C, as that's just below the treble clef or just above the bass clef, you can then actually work out every other note, because you just count up or down, just think about how the alphabet goes up or down from that point, and you can work them out. But that's obviously going to take a long time. So we want to actually start learning how to read these notes without having to think about it too much. But that does take practice, and it's going to take practice. So be kind to yourself, allow yourself to be take the time it needs to be. So the important ones to memorize, and they say here 7 important line notes, would be the bottom, the middle, and the top line in both the bass clef and the treble clef. So at the bass clef, it's going to be G, and then 5 notes up, because you've got a line, space, line, space, line. So that is 5 notes is a D. G, A, B, C, D. And then 5 notes up from that, because you've got a line, and then it's a space, line, space, and then the line. So you've got D, E, F, G, A again. So there's the A, and then we have our middle C, which is the same no matter where you're writing it, bass clef or treble clef. Those are both C, and then we're going to switch over to the right hand. So 2 notes up from that middle C, C, D, E, and then 5 notes up again. We're going to go up to the B, so E, and then F, G, A, B, and then 5 notes up again from there. We're going to take us up to the F. So B and then C, D, E, F is going to be our top line note. So what you want to do is, as it says here, cover the picture of the keyboard below and point at random at notes on the stave of these notes that you've now learned. And you want to then practice actually being able to play it. Yeah, and then what they also suggest is that you use the music note cards that come with the keyboard course. So I had to track these down, but I was able to get hold of a copy from my parents. I actually don't know where my set of these have gone, but these are note cards that correspond with all of the different notes on the stave. And at the back, it also shows you, let's put it that way around, it also shows you where this note is on the keyboard. So it'll show you where middle C is, and then you can see relative to that where this note is. So they suggest using cards 3, 7, 11, 13, 18, 20, 24, and 28. So 3 is, you look at that, that is the top note over there. So we've got our C, we have E, B, and F. So that is F. And if you want to then see where, let's get it that way around, where that is on the keyboard. So we've got middle C, and we're going to go all the way up to this F just below those 3 there. That's going to be that F. So 3, and then there's number 7. So you separate out the cards that you need to be able to do this, and then test yourself. So you're going to use these as flashcards, where you can use it both ways. So let's just get that card number 3 again. So you can use it looking at the note, and you can also look at, keep on doing this the wrong way around. You can also look at what it is on the keyboard, and then flip it over and see, okay, well, think about what line is that? It's the top line, it's the middle line, it's the bottom line. Where would it be? If you, for whatever reason, don't have the flashcards, if, like me, you have a copy of the book, but you couldn't find the flashcards, which I couldn't for a while, and you can't get hold of one, I also was able to find a couple of apps where you can test yourself. So just search for an app, Learning Music Notes app. And you can then, generally, you probably will be able to set it up that you only want to test certain notes, and then you can test yourself with that. So the quicker you can learn how to read the music, the quicker you will learn how to play effectively. So it is definitely worthwhile to invest time in really practicing the notes and getting to a point where you can read them effortlessly. And that does not happen overnight. It takes time. It's learning another language, essentially. But you can get there. So you can have a look at it yourself. You can also get somebody else to show you the different cards, and then you practice it like that. So these are the important line notes to remember. And what it then says as well is that you need to actually practice reading these notes. So practice the exercises below until you can play them smoothly. Sing the name of each note as you play it as well. And then when you've learned these exercises, try to play them without looking at your hands. So there's one of the challenges as well. When you're first learning how to play, you want to check that you're playing the right note with the right finger, and you're also trying to read each note on the page. As time goes by, you'll be able to look at your hands less and less. And at the moment, that may seem like a foreign concept that you can't imagine getting to that point, but you will be able to as you get more confident in playing. So let's play these, practice these daily until you can play them smoothly. So we're going to start here. This is middle C that we have. So that's that line below the treble clef, and we're going to use finger 1. So you can see now they're not giving you the name of the note. They're just showing you where it is on the stave. They're not going to tell you the number to play, the finger number to play for all of them. They're just giving you the first couple, and then they're saying, okay, well, you need to figure out the rest based on that. So here you're only playing 2 notes in the treble clef and then 2 notes in the bass clef. So they're giving you for the first one for each one, and then from that point onwards, you just use that same finger. So let's just look at remind ourselves of the length of the notes. So this is an open note with a line, so that counts 2 beats. It's a half note or a minim. So it'll be 1, 2, and then our third note for the bar or the measure, because this is in 3/4 time, that's going to be 1 note, 1 beat. So it's a solid note with a line, so that counts 1. So it's 2 and then 1, and then this is 3. So it's a dotted half note or a dotted minim. So the open note with the line, but with a dot. So that dot says you add on half the value of the main note. So because this counts 2, like over there we had 2, but we've got the dot, so half of 2 is 1, so it's 2 plus 1. It's 3 beats. Also 3, and then 2 and 1, 3, 2 and 1, and then 3. Okay, so let's play it. So this is an C, and then E is the bottom line note, and then we'll do the C again, and then here, this is the top line note. So if we come back over here, that's an A that we're going to be playing. And so relative to middle C, it's going to be 2 notes down from middle C that we're going to be playing. So that's a C and an A. And then we're going to do a D as well. So where we have our A over there, we're going to go down to D. And so there's our A and there's our D. So A and D is going to come down. But you'll see now we're reading from left to right. So even though we're going from A down to D, and we're going down, we're still reading from left to right. But you can see the notes going down because it's lower down on the page. So the next note along to the right is lower down on the page. So your hands are going to move down the keyboard to the lower notes. Okay, so those are all the notes that are used. So let's first clap it just to make sure you're comfortable with the rhythm, and then we'll play it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's try playing it. So as it says, first play it with, just take your time, just kind of find the notes, but you want to practice it until you can play it smoothly and until you don't need to look at your hands as much. Okay, so we're going to position our finger 1 on this middle C, and finger 3 is going to be on E. And then for our left hand, we have finger 1 on A and finger 5 on D. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then it suggests also trying to sing the notes as you're doing it, to just try and get more senses involved in getting this internalized and memorized. So we're going to do C, E, C, A, D, C, E, C, A, D, A. Okay, so that's the first one. Now let's look at the next one. So this is in 4/4 time, so we're gonna have 4 beats per bar, per measure. And this beat is this note is 2 beats, so like we had in the top line, 2 beats and then 2 beats. And then all of them are 2, except for now we have 4 beats. That's a whole note or a semi-breve. And we're gonna have 2, 2, 2 again until we get to the semi-breve at the end, the whole note again. So let's have a look at which notes we're gonna play for this one. So for here, we're gonna have for our left hand, that's the top line. So that is an A that we're going to be playing over there. So we're going to put finger 3 on A, and then finger 1 is going to go onto the C, middle C. And now our right hand isn't going to be on middle C. It's a different position for both hands. It's going to be on the E, which is 2 notes up. And then your finger 5 is going to be on the middle line, which is B. Okay, so E, and then B, and then back to E. So those are the notes we're going to be using throughout. So let's just clap it so that you can hear the rhythm, and then we'll play it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try playing it. So as we said, finger 3 is going to be on A, finger 1 is going to be on C, and then finger 1 is going to be on E, and finger 5 is going to be on B. Right, so let's play this. And I'm going to count it out as I play it for the first time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these aren't the most musical things that you're playing right now, but it's good to be practicing it so that you can get familiar with reading it. So let's do that again, and this time we're going to sing the notes. Okay, so we're starting with an A down here. A, C, E, C, E, B, E, B, E, C, E, C, C, A. Okay, so another one to be practicing quite often until you're comfortable. Right, then let's go to the next one. So this is again in 3/4 times. So we have 3 beats. And these are single beat notes. So they're crotchets or quarter notes. So they each count for 1 beat. And then there's a 3. And then 1, 1, 1, 3. And then here we have a 2 and a 1. And then 3 and 3. So that same 2, 1 that we had at the top line. But we're adding in these extra notes where we have just 1, 1, 1. So let's clap it first, and then we'll look at where you're going to place your hands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now let's see where we're going to place our hands. So our left hand in the bass clef is going to start on this very bottom note, which if we come up here, the very bottom note is a G. So you've got middle C, you're going to go down a whole octave and then down to the next G down there. Okay, so it's quite a wide range that we have for the bass clef, and for the treble clef as well. It's going to be quite a wide range that we have there. So we're starting with finger 5 is going to be on G, and then finger 1 is going to be on D, which is the middle note. So G and then D, bottom and then the middle line. And then our right hand, finger 1 is going to be on the bottom line, which is an E, and finger 5 is going to be on a B, the middle line. Okay, so for both of these, it's the bottom line and then the middle line, bottom line, middle line. So here, those aren't the same notes, and it's a G and a D, and then an E and a B. And that's just how it's worked out, how it developed over time. It would be nice in some ways if they were exactly the same, but that's just not how it works. Okay, so let's practice playing this. And then I'll just count out so you can get the timing, and then I'll sing the notes as well. Okay, so we've got G. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so do that a few times with practicing just counting, and then let's do it with singing the notes as well. So we're starting on a G. So because the notes are moving all over the place, you're going to be singing at different pitches, but we'll just see how that can play, how that works out. Okay, so start with the G. G, 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 D, E, 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 B, D, 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 E, E, B, G. Okay, so you can hear I'm still keeping that rhythm, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So even though I'm just playing it, you've got to make sure that you're still keeping that rhythm, that regular beat as you're going through. Okay, then let's do the last one on this page. So now we're going to have for our left hand, so this is 4/4 time. Let's look at the timing first. So these are 1 beat notes, or crotchets or quarter notes, 1, 1, and then this one's going to count 2. So that gives you the 1, 2, 3, 4 to make up the 4 beats. And we're going to have 1, 1, and that's a 2. And then here we have 1, and then 2, and then 1. So normally we have the 2 together and then a single note to make up the 2 beats. Here they've put the longer note in the middle just to mix things up a little bit. And then we have 2 and 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so let's just count it first to make sure we've got the timing right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can see here you really are jumping between the treble clef and the bass clef constantly, even within the same bar. You're moving between them, and you need to get comfortable with just, I'm reading from left to right, wherever the note is, I'm going to play that note. Eventually you're going to be playing notes with your left hand and your right hand at the same time. So for now you're still just playing one at a time, but it's moving between the left hand and the right hand. Okay, so let's try playing this. So in terms of the placement, so your left hand, your finger 5 is going to be on the middle line, which is, come over here, the middle line is it? D. So we've got finger 5 on D, and finger 1 is going to be on A, the top line that you have, top line for the bass clef. So there is A, and our right hand is going to be the very top line, which is an F, and then the middle line, okay, which is a B. So the very top line, F, and the middle line is a B. Right, so let's play this and hear how it sounds, and then I'll just count it out, and then we can do the singing the notes as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to sound. Let's try it with singing it as well. So again, the notes are jumping around all over the place. So when you're singing it, don't worry about, does your voice sound weird? Don't worry. You're just doing this for yourself. You're just doing it to learn. So yeah. Okay, so we're going to start on a D with our left hand. So D, D, A, F, F, B, A, A, B, A, D, D, A, F, F, B, F, A, D, A, D. Okay, so that F is pretty high, so it wasn't my best singing there, and that's fine if you find that you can't sing that note. Even if you're just saying the note names as you're doing it, that will help you to internalize. I'm playing this note on the keyboard, it looks like this when I'm reading the notes on the page, and it's an F. So you want to make those connections. where on the page it is, what note it is on the keyboard, and what the name of the note is. And while you're doing that, you're also need to keep track of how long is the note. Is it 1 beat or 2 beats or 3 beats or 4 beats? Okay, we've got on this page, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 beat notes. So all of that is having to happen at the same time. So you can see why there is complicated to be reading music, but as you practice, as you go through this course, which is very well designed and very well put together, you'll be able to do all of this. Okay, so I'm going to leave this video here, and then in the next video, we're going to look at reading all of the different line notes and all of the different space notes as well, and how to be reading all of those. So make sure you've practiced these exercises, you practice with the flashcards, get yourself comfortable with that, and then come back in a few days once you're comfortable to then be able to read all of the line notes and all of the space notes and be starting to make music much more effectively, because then you can play every note. What we did today wasn't very musical because we were limited to just those few notes, but it's going to get a lot better in the next section.